Hey, it's prime. We're 3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route. Mighty gets a score, and and PJ start to scout. Your rhyme's really trash, what do you think he's damn fouls? TBI the show, so buckle down, sit back. And Jay we trust, cause he's the leader of the pack. It's prime, Jewball.
This is TBI 3 balls in alongside Logan and Davo. It's another episode of TBI. I am PJ's. And we're back at it again. We took a week off. We'll get to that in a minute. But we have a lot to talk about today. There was some football yesterday. There was a staycation bowl a week before. Leagues maybe never happening again. But let's talk about yesterday. Logan, you didn't play again. Oh, my goodness.
Wow, shocker.
Okay.
Let's talk about the real thing that happened yesterday. Somebody got his first W.
Ah, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you.
Never
Thank
forget
you.
your first, huh?
All right. I like that. Yes. I was on Fight's team. We'll get into the game. Dax was just not the quarterback Dax, the receiver Dax was just unbelievable. But this kind of had last year vibes to it. Fight versus Prey. Fight's up 2-0. Prey comes back, ties it 2-2. Fight throws a pick at the very end of the game. And we go to overtime, and our defense shut down Prey, and Fight finds Dax for his third touchdown of the game. But, who can't get forgotten in that game is Open. The line of Open and Beast were getting in on Fight a lot.
I do like an open beast.
And, what was really cool is that Fight actually, he's up 2-0, gets 2 touchdowns to Dax. Unfortunately, early in the game, Singer and Sting collide. Thankfully,
Stinger.
Yeah, unfortunately, fortunately for Singer, I think he'll be okay, but obviously he had to leave the game. Yaron came into the game to help out. That's not a replacement on defense, but on offense, we made it work.
Terrible trade.
Yeah, almost as bad as my trade. But
You got to for no one.
But the point is that you're up to nothing. A Fight goes, you know what, guys, let's not lose this one. I have a feeling Prey's gonna come back, and I'm like, why would you admit that out loud in public? But anyways, Fight drives down twice, drives down 1st and goal, and Open and Beast shove him back behind the line, forcing a 4th and long behind the first down marker. Like, that's how much they got pressure in. And then, obviously, I mentioned it before, Fight tries to hit me on a wheel route, completely overthrows me. On the play before, he had your own wide open.
Fast enough.
Maybe. Could be. Misses your own wide open in the corner of the end zone. And you're thinking at that moment, Ernie picks it off. You're thinking in that moment, oh man, like the momentum's on Prey's side. And then Prey overthrows some receivers on his end. And of course, hits Dax to the game winning touchdown. Let's talk about game 2.
I want to ask a question first.
Yeah.
Why was Fight's pants off?
Oh.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Is that the key to victory?
Yeah. Well,
Because we could be Top Guns bottoms off. Like, that could be fine. I'm good with that.
Mindless parties.
Fight was definitely revealing most of his body yesterday.
Hmm.
I believe Beast has something to do with that. But yeah, and Fight's pants just ripped in half, and the guy played with it. There you go.
Wait, what? The guy did what?
He played with
He
it.
played with it. All right. Pants come off, and he played with it. What a great episode. Let's keep going, boys.
Jets fans.
Jets fans. I love. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. All right, game 2.
I'm glad you brought it up, though. I'm glad we didn't pass over the whole Fight pants fiasco. Game 2.
It's been a very interesting evening so far. Game 2, we had a classic Yaron versus Prey. Seems like Prey's always a classic.
Yeah, it's true. Classic guy. Classic football.
Prey came out of the gun, shooting, slinging balls all over.
Dude, Davo, opening touchdown of the game.
This is MS. We went up 2-0. 2-0. Then we went up 2-1.
No, you're up
3-0.
You're up 3-0.
3-0.
And then your own chips away.
Which of you were at this game?
I honestly don't even know. I had an out of mind experience, out of body experience.
2.5 touchdowns apparently also.
Yeah, Prime, I don't forgive you now. I decided you're a bastard. Okay, I wrote a sticker on. I said, okay, we're me and Prime were both supposed to run a double slant. I said, Prime, what you gotta do is you gotta hit right away, just go straight. And he goes, yeah. So I hit my route quick, and I'm sitting there wide open. Zin's lobbing up a ball, and then Prime goes, "Ooh, look, a ball!" And he comes, and I'm sitting there waiting for it, and he steals my touchdown. You rat bastard!
Two
Love
receivers
it.
in the same place.
Well,
Thankfully, nobody dropped it.
we were both open.
There you go.
Well,
Speaking of open, he had
little
more.
foreshadowing.
Speaking of open, by the way, he had more sacks in that game. Right? 3 in game 1, 4 in game 2.
He's a big sack man.
Yeah, he's got a big sack lead.
He does.
One thing I want to say though is that I've been slightly impressed with Yaron's defense this year. I think it's been a little bit better.
Yaron,
than
calm down. He said
years
slightly.
past.
Just a
Yeah,
little.
he's-
There's only a little.
Yeah, your own is just shocked you gave him praise.
Well, I mean, he only threw one interception.
Wait. You're talking about his defense.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
Oh, you just moved on. You're done.
He's
Let's move on.
like,
I can't do that now.
he threw one to end the game in classic Yaron fashion. I
Yeah.
think. There's a few dropped ones, but he played a pretty decent game overall. It just was no match for the receivers on
Right.
Bray's team. They did have an excellent line though of Open and Dobbs, and I think they're both just
That's a formidable line.
And
You'd say
By the way, Dobbs in that game, again, I wasn't there for it, but just hearing the chat, apparently it was pretty impressive touchdown that game for Dobbs, right?
Catch.
they're just a
Catch.
catch. They're just a catch.
Oh, it's just a catch, not a touchdown.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it, but it was good. It was good.
It was over you.
Yeah.
oh,
Okay.
that's embarrassing. So,
Ernie had a touchdown over me in game 1. It
No,
happens.
but listen,
I
Ernie
just
went over.
Well, no, he
Under.
got behind.
Right.
He got behind me, but I did shut him down on one,
And-
earlier in the game.
in
so.
my defense, I played good defense. I got a hand on it. Dobbs is underratedly big.
But he's much
He's
taller
deceptive.
than I
He's
thought.
deceptively
like-
tall.
Going into this
Yeah.
season, I was like, Dobbs is like my height, and then I was like,
No,
no, he's like 6 feet.
He's
6'1".
taller.
Like,
Yeah,
he's
he's like-
bigger than I thought.
He's also got good hands, also. So there you go.
No, he's a good player. Listen, I love Dobbs. I love Open also. I think they had a great line. It honestly, I think since we stopped doing league weeks, I think the game has actually become better. I think people just aren't so like focused on pressured on winning their league games and putting their focus on league game, and they're just having more fun. And I thought it was a great game. I think everyone just came out there and had a good time.
Speaking of fun, I don't. It'd be bad for us not to mention last week's Staycation Bowl, and a lot of props is in because as the recap that I wrote about, it's a game that didn't look like it was going to happen at one point, and the game that did end up happening, people dropped, people added, then people didn't show up, and in the end, you had football on a Sunday, which is huge. And listen,
Football on Sunday where we didn't expect it.
but again, when the rookie organizing it, and again, a few people hopped out along the way. Your own brought a guy, I brought a guy, Prime brought a guy, but still,
you guys, kind
but
of.
still, sort of. And then listen, at the end of the day, football happened, and Zin gets the credit. So great job to Zin, and good football. There you go.
I like that. Yeah, props.
So-
props to the rook.
So we've been talking about
Not
open-
the rook, but
we've been talking about Open, and I think that's also a good person to bring up as Rook. But I wanted to bring up something really quickly.
do it.
Davo had a huge game yesterday, right? I think something happened this year where guys got drafted, and I think we all agree Davo's 8th round pick, right? Was kind of a shock to many of us. We thought he'd go a little bit earlier in the draft. I think in your mocks you had yourself projected 5th, 6th round. That's kind of where I had you as well. You went 8th. Think about a guy like Storm who also went in the 7th round, 6th or 7th round, and you look at a guy like Rook who wasn't drafted. So you look at guys with stats who weren't drafted, but again, picking up stats, playing really well, it's not a shock, right? I think next year when there are 5 teams, you're going to see a lot of these guys get drafted earlier because they're naturally, but still. But
Hey, not necessarily. People fall. It happens.
people are going to fall for sure, but I think that there are people who are. I think captains are taking notice. There's some of the players who took the maybe insult of being drafted later on as a man. If I would have got, maybe I should get that guy earlier next year. But anyways, the point I want to bring up is statistically, we have a lot of new stat leaders.
Oh,
Let's start with yesterday's star, which was Open. He's now in the same amount of games, has 13 games, 27 sacks compared to Kutz, 13 games, 23 sacks. He's not just a sack leader, he's the per game sack leader. I'll be honest with you, I know he was a 2nd round pick. I'm kind of shocked that he's taken the league by storm by having more sacks
Is
than
that a pun intended?
by having more sacks than Kut, more sacks than Solo, more stacks than Munch. And Munch has played a bunch this year. So just interesting to see that Open has, and then offensive line, which is there is no stat metric for it, but offensive line, everyone says this is the best offensive lineman in Jewball right now.
I concur.
I mean, so you look at that stat leader. Storm is now the TD leader. Now, not the per game TD leader, but he is
Receiving touchdown.
But he's the receiving touchdown leader,
Total.
receiving touchdown leader, and he's holding on to that. When a game where he played against it yesterday, he still held on to the TD leader, receiving TD leader. So a lot of guys stepping up, getting stats, making names for themselves. This is exactly why Jewball is what it is. And for the people who hate the stat keeping, I actually think this is why we keep stats.
Well, to not to disagree, because obviously on Three Balls and we love stats. But it's not that, like, okay, a guy like Storm, you mentioned me, you mentioned a guy like Rook in particular. It's not that even though we went late, it doesn't mean we're not as good. It's just we might not get as many passes. We might get overlooked for bigger names, bigger people. But there's so much talent throughout Jewball that it doesn't matter where you actually get drafted. You show up on Sunday, you play. You get passes, you get passes. You don't. Listen, a guy like you, right? When you get the ball thrown to you in an area that you can catch it, you catch it and you make a play on it, even if it is a 99-yard run and you get stopped at the one like 4 times. But it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be drafted number 1 overall. It doesn't mean you deserve to be drafted last. It's just that people don't look at you the same because you don't get as many passes.
I don't care where I'm drafted. I just want to play. That's my theory. You could draft me last, but as long as I'm playing, it's all.
That's what I'm saying. So like your draft position doesn't matter. Listen, Storm's got more touchdowns than every receiver drafted in front of him.
Right.
And
right.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
yeah, sure.
But I'm saying, besides Zinn, who's in competition, Storm was what 13th receiver drafted, maybe.
Right,
I have
right.
a number off the top of my head.
Singer's a lineman, and Mighty's a lineman, and
Prime's a lineman.
Lineman's yeah. So there's a lot of linemen drafted real early. But I hear what you're saying.
What I'm saying is, like, it doesn't matter. It's just you get open, you get targets. Just play.
Your
And get
thoughts?
stats.
Your thoughts on the new stat leaders? It's good, right? It's good for football.
Anytime you've got some kind of new infusion into anything that especially Jewball, but anything that could be stale, like you love to see it, right? Like you love to see new people doing good things.
That's it. All right, Logan.
And you love to see sacks.
Yeah.
That goes without saying.
I love sacks.
Logan, you cooked up a little something. You want to talk to us about?
Yeah, we're gonna have a new segment. Don't worry, Biggie, you'll still be here. But we want to have a new segment, and this is a segment where we want Jewballers to send us their hot takes, whether it's about a game that was played, whether it was about a call that was made, a rule that needs to happen, something in the chat, whatever it is. You're gonna send us your hot take. We're gonna respond to it. The segment's gonna be called "Expose Yourself." We think it's because, again, you guys are going to put yourself out there on the line. You're going to throw yourself out there. People are going to judge your opinions. We're going to judge your opinions. You send us a little video clip. You tell us what you're thinking. And if we think it's worthy enough, we'll start it on the show.
Could they be anonymous and write us their take?
No, because then they're not exposing themselves.
Only if
Okay.
The whole idea is they are
like,
exposing themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, so yeah. Send it in.
Expose
We'd
yourself.
love to chat. We'll debate it here, but we'd love to hear your takes.
Does fight
One more way for you guys to get in.
does fight technically get the first expose yourself segment because he exposed himself yesterday?
No, I unless he exposed himself between 2 plants, I don't think it
Okay.
actually counts.
Okay.
There was no video, so it doesn't.
I wish there was a video. That'd be unbelievable.
But
But anyway,
technically he exposed himself between 2 pictures.
he didn't expose
Maybe
his
between
ideas.
I know between 2 pictures of me, so I'm a little bit maybe we don't do that. Maybe we don't.
Either
Okay.
way, send your ideas. We'd love to hear what you guys have to think, because
Please.
I'm sure we're not the only 3 idiots who've got opinions.
There you go. All right, guys, we're gonna send it off to Big E. We mentioned Big E before. Big E's hug of the week. Take it away, Big E.
Oh, hello, Jewballers. How has everybody been on this vacation week? I hear from way out yonder a need for a hug. And who needs a hug? My brother from another mother, our one and only MVP, Singer. Snowpup, I love you. And this week's hug of the week goes for you. I love you, brother. I hope you feel better. And all of you, we'll see you on the field. Back to you in the TBI studios.
All right.
Oh, that's good.
Well, you know what? He deserves it.
Both those guys. I would love to get it. That's a sandwich I want to be part of.
But you know what?
We're talking about
We mentioned,
like sneaking.
I know we mentioned before the recap. It's tough to see Singer get hurt, and I think he'll be okay. It's a day-to-day, week-to-week thing, but just sucks.
It's also weird because like he's one of those guys who's usually hurting people. Like, you know what I mean? Like big guy, not
Yeah,
intentional,
yeah,
but like,
yeah.
just bulldozing through, in front of being a blocker. Like, sucks to see that guy hurt.
Well, guys, this is exciting. We thought Rook was setting the trend by having an in-house guest live here on TBI. Well, we got our second guest.
Love it.
We mentioned him a lot of this show already because we're big fans of his.
No, calm down. We didn't get fight. He's still doing his own show. But
he is now.
What kind of show is it now?
it's burlesque. It's fine.
He is now the leader in sacks. He is part of the duo of Open Legs. It's none other than Open.
Bring it in, man. You can bring the beer
Right in the middle.
Yeah,
You're gonna
Rook had it.
You gotta spread us open.
Oh,
Let's
it's the
go.
sandwich that Logan gets.
There we go. There we go.
This is the sandwich that Logan gets to be.
No,
part of.
see, this is
He,
where I have to go catch it.
Logan's upset he's the bread. He wants to be the meat here.
No, please. Everyone wants to be the meat. What's going on, man? Welcome.
I'm very happy to be the
Appreciate
bread, actually.
Welcome, man. Welcome to the TBI Live.
Yeah,
Appreciate
this-
Logan hosting.
Yes.
Oh,
Of
of
course,
course,
Yeah,
of course.
definitely.
So
At least someone appreciates it.
open. Talk to me here.
This guy wants to take our jobs. Listen, he's the youth of Jewball.
That's right.
Well, one day,
Yeah,
maybe.
We'll
One
pass
day,
the
maybe
time.
we'll pass the microphone over. But open, talk to me. So you're obviously crushing it in Jewball. Compare, like, we asked this to a lot of guys who are new to Jewball, but compare Jewball to other types of either leagues or football games that you've played in. Like, how does it compare talent wise, physicality, just overall, like, kind of give it to us honest. Like, how do we fall out?
No, it's a great question. I actually have been part of a few different leagues. I was part of the IFL in Israel. I played in the Aviator League in Brooklyn. Played in high school in the Five Towns, the Five Towns Football League as well, of course. And the Tuesday Night League, the Croton League. By far the number one thing that's different about Jewball is the camaraderie. That any league that you're part of, just trying to be, your team, you show up, you play with your guys, and that's it, and you leave. Jewball it's not Sunday, it's not Tuesday, it's not, it's every single day of the week. It's you show up, you play with different guys, you play with everyone. I don't think there's barely anyone that I've not played with, on the same team, whether it's through leagues or whether it's just to pick up games on Sunday, and it's nice. You come, when Yaron first started, and he introduced it to me, I think it was Storm and Rook I saw over there, and I barely knew any guys. First day I show up, and it's nice getting hellos. People shook my hand, feel welcome right away. It's a nice thing, and you finally look forward to play football other than just the football side of it. It's more than just a league. It's like I don't know, I'll be cliche a little bit and cheesy, but it's like a family. It is.
Not a cult though.
It's not a cult though.
Diego, did you get that kind of warm welcome?
He had a brother in.
Yeah, I know, but still.
I don't even remember my welcome. I just know my whole life changed. I used to have a different personality. Now all of a sudden I'm Davo. Like I used to be a different person.
Vowel.
I'll tell you this: my first day on the chat, I was actually added pretty early to the chat. So like there was no football going on, and there's just a million messages. I did not know what I was getting into.
You're like, what is going on?
They're
playing for another 2
and everyone's yelling at each other. I got nothing. And the biggest thing that Yaron brought me in. Yaron knew I know Yaron for a while, and
Sorry.
Yeah, Rome was scouting for a long time.
and I know Yaron from back in, we used to do fighting together. And when I knew Yaron,
Yaron was karate.
no one started with
Maybe.
Yaron. Everyone respected Yaron. He was our wrestling coach, and I came to the chat the first day, and they were ripping Yaron.
Wait, how old
I
were you?
was,
Your coach?
oh god, I'm not gonna start
Was it
that.
high
We
school?
have a predator already. I was 12, I think. I was 12.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, 5 years.
Scouting early.
And And then I saw everyone.
And he still doesn't draft them.
Right, I know. I know. I drafted in the second round. That's tough.
Okay.
I still took DK over him.
Yeah, I know, right? I wasn't shocked. It's fine.
Better beard. Yeah,
He could
No,
have
no,
could have had Zin at 3.
That's true. Could have had
that's
me.
true. That's true. Could have
Could have me.
He could have had you at
7.
5-5.
Seven.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, wow,
so
you missed me twice. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
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 you
Okay.
should never talk to him again.
We all try not
and,
to.
and I'm playing for him Tuesday night. So but no, but the first day I see everyone ripping on the chat.
You're like, what's
I'm
going on?
like, yo, you don't know who you're starting with. And then I hear texting that Munch beat him up. So
That's true.
That I believe.
Yes,
I mean,
that
Munch
is true.
just-
I
Munch
was
is a
there.
man
Saw
like
it.
you were there, were you?
Yep.
Okay.
It happened on the Ultimate Field.
Yes, it did.
So so that's number one. Number two, I would say the physicality. You can't compare the physicality, in Jewball. And no other league in flag football can you stiff arm that I know of, that I played in. I know Solo is part of another physical league, but that I know, could you stiff arm? Could you actually no flag grabbing and actually tackling?
I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, and honestly, the physicality makes it so much more intense. It's not like just trying to grab a flag. You're going all on 100% on every play. And also you play both sides. I love that about Jewball. That I was part of the Tuesday night league before. The worst thing was only playing one side. You don't get into the flow of the game. Here you're playing both sides, and it's amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if we needed a salesman for Jewball, I'm going with open. Yeah, I mean, no, you said it well. No, you said it really well. I think this is why everyone invests their time and energy into Jewball for the same reasons you mentioned. Okay, but now let's put our reflective cap on now. You've been in Jewball almost now a whole season. If you could change something for next year, and it's a hard question, I'll give you a second to think about it. But if you could change something for next year, something you'd like to see done differently, what would you like to see? Or is there something you'd like to see done differently?
So what I would say is the number one.
Right off the
thing that
bat, I love it. By the way, I love it right off the bat.
I was prepared
He's
for
a
this.
forward thinker. I love it.
I was
Love
prepared
it.
for this, and people brought it up before, but the number one
If
thing
you say
is-
refs, so help me God.
no, but it's not about
wow.
reps. It's more about not making a call.
Yeah,
He's gonna
yeah.
do that, baby.
Oh no, he's in my
He
book.
made you happy.
It's
Thank
not about a refs. I don't think the answer is a ref.
Ref.
No.
It's more or less you
saw
need to stop
by the
making-
way, you saw yesterday in the NFL why refs
Yeah,
can
yeah,
ruin
yeah,
a game.
right.
Yeah,
Let's
100%.
let the man preach. I love this.
Yeah.
It
Preach,
depends
preach.
whose team you're on.
No.
Because one team was very happy about the ref.
No,
Okay.
okay. Preach,
But keep going,
preach.
keep
Let's
going.
go.
So what
I know
was
what you're saying. I love it. I can't wait.
It's not about a rep. It's more about just don't make the call unless it's for real. Unless you're, and for example, I know Zin is going to be upset about it, but Zin called a flag guard on Waldo. Waldo went for a stiff arm. Zin went low, and he literally pushed him down to the ground. And honestly, that changed the whole game. Waldo had two blockers in front of him. It was a one-score game at the time. It was a one-score game at the time. Waldo had a clear to tie I think it was to tie the game up.
Flag guard should
And he
never be
called a
called.
flag guard.
Never
So
should be
my point was, if you're having if you're allowing to do stiff arming,
Yeah.
you're always going to have a problem with flag guarding. Everyone's going to say I was stiff arming, and then the other side is going to say no, it was a flag guard. He hit my arm. Well, you can't have both. And
I'll even make the other argument. If you allow the defender to wrap someone up almost to the point of a tackle, you have to let the receiver do whatever they want.
exactly.
You
And,
have to.
yeah, and honestly,
Don't make the call. Just make the
Not everybody wraps it.
They should. You always wrap it up. Come on. I taught you guys nothing.
the one thing I
Wrap it
learned.
up.
The one thing I learned.
A 1 month old. Wrap it up.
No, but and honestly, most guys don't make calls. My hot take is that there's a few people that make calls every single game, and they just need to, it's not worth it. So many times when they make a call, they regret it afterwards because then it was a dead play and we have to redo it. And if you would have just shut up, it wouldn't have. And just don't make the call. Let the game play.
Ironically enough, Kansas City, Cincinnati showed us that there actually is such things as a do-over in the NFL.
That's true.
Oddly, I'm totally open. I love you. I love you. I
that's-
love you. I love you. I can't say it enough. This man knows what he's talking about. He's a rook, but he knows what he's talking about.
So, okay. So now I'm going to challenge you a little bit with your
No.
response.
Don't make a call.
No. One
Who's the
second.
least? Who's
By
the
the way,
No.
Which
Don't
Jewball
make
do
a
it?
call, but definitely call the person out.
Okay, so
You gotta be like, listen, I'm not gonna call it, but you definitely flag guard.
Yeah.
Just like, come on, buddy.
That's okay, but let the play keep going.
Yeah.
So in your humble opinion, you feel don't make the call. But let's say something is egregious. What is a call you believe is something that should be called and something that should not be called? So you said before flag guarding.
Flag guarding. I
Okay.
don't think that
What
should never
what
be
else?
called.
What else would you get rid of besides flag
I
guarding?
would take away if it's a blatant hold on the line and the offensive lineman can own
A
to
blatant
it,
hold means a
he
guy,
wouldn't argue.
meaning a guy goes to the ground.
Drags him down to the
To
ground.
Choking.
And I'll be honest with you, I held one play.
A hold like this.
Sometimes when you play on the line, and I play on the line, you wear gloves, and someone's wearing a sweatshirt because it's cold outside.
You get stuck.
You
get
yes,
stuck.
it's much easier, and you don't need to all the time. And for example, I had it with Bert yesterday. I actually held him one play. I owned up to it after the game, and he told me, "Listen, you held me," and I said yes. He didn't call it. We
Right.
spoke it out on the line. It was done.
And then, by the way, there's some guys who can't even talk it out with because they'll just
Right.
jump back at you like, well, you hold me also. Like it's
Right.
whatever.
And we had someone hitting a QB on the rush and stopping the
thank-
play. You know, I don't, you know, but no, it was,
That sounds like such a PJ
to
thing.
call it out.
He just
No,
loves their quarterbacks.
no.
You not love to hit quarterbacks?
I'm hitting.
The main call is a PI. That affects a real play. If you have
That's the only. While
that's
I
the
hate
one
those
that makes-
calls, that's the only
the only one that would make
calls I
sense
think
to call.
You have to respect.
correct.
By the way, it's also
Especially in a playoff game.
By the way,
No, in any game,
In the
that's
end
the
zone.
that's the only play that, like, I get it.
unless it's a fan, it's also the one call that most people can see
Right.
because when the ball's up in the air, everyone's
The
looking. in that
receiver
direction.
must call it. It can't be someone else. But if the receiver calls it, that's the
But-
only
but-
call that I would respect.
But it's something that is obvious to everybody. If you
Again,
see-
receiver must call it, not one of these. Come on, man, call it.
right,
Right. I also want to knock out the sideline.
Yeah,
They're not part of the
Yes,
game.
I love this.
Half the
Kid.
time that the
I
guys
love this kid.
the guys say and they don't even watch
You
the
want
play,
some spots?
but people look at them.
All right,
I've been salivating.
Let's say, there's one more.
Salivating
There's
smoke
one more.
flags?
There's one more thing you can say to make Logan pop off. You ready?
Uh-oh.
What's your view on video replay?
Oh God. Truthfully.
Uh-oh.
It depends on the video, honestly. It depends on the video. I know. It depends on the video. It's very hard when you have one angle. It's impossible to make. If it's a sideline call, if it's a sideline, I knew what you wanted to hear, but I'm being honest. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. It's very hard to make a call when you have one angle on the play.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
if
agreed.
it's
The only video
If
Logan
it-
doesn't like.
if it's a touchdown, and there's no sidelines either.
It's
Really, there's no lines either.
The whole video replay is ridiculous.
But like a hold, if you have to do video
No,
cam for that, it's just no.
Best guest ever, by the way, for the record.
Oh, wow. There you go.
I
Okay.
got comfortable here, you know.
Segment, Phil, I like it. Okay, listen, maybe we gotta talk about the game a little bit. You're coming in, you're dropping sacks on everybody.
Teabagging, if you will.
You know, what's your favorite quarterback to sack?
Oh, okay. So there's honestly Dax.
You
So
love sacking Dax?
I'll tell you what, he is the toughest person
He is.
to get down. It's impossible. And honestly, it's such an easy job for me to be a lineman for him. And people say you can't get by me, you just can't sack Dax.
Yeah, it's
He's
hard.
impossible. The guy, even when I
Shifty.
snap, he's 20 feet behind and he's shifty. He'll just run back. He's 30, he throws the ball 30 yards before the line anyways. And it's just impossible to sack him. When you get him down, you just feel, wow, you know, and you ran for a half a mile just to get him. Just, you know what, that's the best, you know. But as more of just a pleasure of getting, got to be our own.
That's good.
That's an easy one. Just to see him, and then he gets upset at everyone. You know, he drops the ball. You know, he throws the ball over there.
Yeah, he
I
does.
can vaguely picture what you're
Right?
about. That's so
We've all seen it.
So so it's just
Leon and his receiver.
just for the scene, you know. And so that's our own.
I do love that.
All right. What's one thing about Open that maybe most Jewballers don't know?
Ooh. Okay.
He's actually 52.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you. Most people think, I'll tell you, and it's people think on the chat that Dax has played with Open and Zin before. Never happened. We have
Wait,
never.
what?
We have never
Even in the Tuesday?
until
He didn't even know
Jewball,
who Zin was.
he had no clue who Zin was, honestly.
Wow.
Whoa!
Let's just say that.
That
Let's just say
actually,
that.
I actually did know that.
And
That
people,
part I did know.
people
I
came,
didn't know this
and
part.
people were saying about
Wait, so
about
all three of you have never played
never
together?
played together.
So Yaron made the shit up.
Yeah. No, so I'll tell you, it's
Whoa.
your own out of it. I brought Zin.
Zin.
I even put receipts on the chat, and yeah, I won that easily. It has been proven. I brought it. The story behind that is Yaron brought me in, and then there was like a summer pickup game, and we needed one more person. And I'm very good friends with Zin's older brother. We worked together, and at work I mentioned to him, and I knew Moshe from, he was much younger than me. He's 4 years younger than me.
Much.
At my age, 4 years is like it's a large
Right? That's a third of your
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
Logan could literally be Zin's father.
For sure.
I am.
No, so
Yeah, you got
so-
working out.
Also make me prime.
Yeah, that's it. Prime is a little up
So Moshe's older brother, by the way,
I knew you weren't white.
texted Moshe saying, "Hey, you want to? Shlomo's playing, Sunday morning football. What do you want to play?" So
Why didn't
texted him.
Zin's older brother play?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? Truth is that he, when
He's not good.
No, he actually is good, but there's brother rivalry, and when your younger brother becomes better than you.
Of course. Happened with me and
He's
my
gonna
brother.
watch it after. I actually show him sometimes PBI.
Yeah. Tom is
No,
on there
but
right
he's
now.
married. He just had a kid.
And still doesn't excuse him for letting his younger brother.
He's actually pretty
become
good.
Better than him. But
Moshe comes from a very athletic family. He
are
has,
there other
he has,
siblings?
he has two older brothers.
Wait, this makes sense why Yaron texted Zin's mom.
Oh God, yeah.
His mom must be an athlete also.
I'm
I
staying
don't know about
far
that.
away from this. I
Yeah.
want nothing to do with this conversation.
PJ's also in that chat.
Yeah. So going back on track.
So you guys,
me
never
and
played-
Dax
that
never
is
played.
crazy. I never knew that. I
And-
you guys
and-
played
and-
Tuesday night.
And the biggest thing that was going on the chat was like, oh yeah, what's our team name?
What's
Roll
your team
Tide.
name? Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
These don't matter.
They play with each other and they're coming, bring their team. We never play with each other.
That-
We knew of each
So
other.
it's only the
from
two
before.
Dax brothers.
Only the two Dax brothers.
Wow, I didn't
And
know that.
I think Stat did play once on their
Yeah, I
team.
think Stat
Okay,
played
it's
with-
possible.
Stats did play with them, but Zin never did. I
Stat
never
plays?
did. Who else
I
is
think
part of the
Stats did.
Tuesday night?
Like saying Logan.
Yeah, but Morty and Shirley have been playing for
Yeah, well, that I
for
get.
years together.
By the way,
Brothers, that
And
I
by the way, Shirley Dax has a younger brother, Shuey Dax, who is a phenomenal QB as well. He's just not around. He's in Israel. But there's another Dax brother.
So you're saying there's a
Will he
chance.
be
a
back
chance.
next year?
There's a
That's just
chance.
16.
Exactly.
That's 6.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And he is a phenomenal quarterback as well.
Better?
It's different. I actually
What do you
play,
mean
I
it's
play
different?
what?
He's younger. Yeah.
He's younger. He's more of a
range.
pocket passer,
Ah.
and he has a cannon of an arm.
Wow.
I played with him in the
Stick.
IFL.
You think he
actually.
would he mold like
He's a year
end well
younger.
in Jewball? Would he
Old and then I like that.
Well, yeah, he's just like his brothers. The Daxes come from a very, very also athletic family.
Yeah.
A very sports,
turns out I know his dad and yeah, I can
His dad's a bowler as well.
Yeah, that is a baller.
Rabbi Dax.
Right, yeah.
It's great too.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, open.
Wow.
Can you hang around for our last segment?
I'll stay.
Wow, this
Well,
is this is a turn for TBI.
That's good guess.
Like,
Yeah, I like this. All right, well, this is actually
Don't matter this to Rook.
oh, it's not a diss.
against the
We
Rook.
love the Rook.
Did Rook sit in the middle? He sat.
No, he sat next to me.
Yeah, on the side, right?
Yeah,
I
typically,
felt very comfortable when I
that's
sat.
part of
He's just trying to protect you today.
typically part of our PJ played the role of cock block tonight, but typically that the in the contract is that the guest sits
Is,
here.
it,
But
is,
anyway,
it,
it's
is this an
fun.
open PJ sandwich?
Okay, so you mentioned earlier about calls. There was a call yesterday that I think you'll remember. A lineman made a call that they had grabbed the quarterback's flag, but it was clear the ball was out for like 5 minutes,
Yes.
and then the call was made. And it's something that we were talking about pre-show as a TBI crew is should we, and we're going to start with Logan on this one, but should we maybe change the rules when it comes to quarterbacks? Meaning, should we stop with just grab the flag of the quarterback for a sack? Should it be maybe it's a one-hand touch, a two-hand touch, in the grasp, grab him, tackle him, something? Because these calls keep happening week after week where a lineman thinks they got the flag in time. The quarterback says, "No, I got rid of the ball." Nobody can see it because nobody's paying attention to this. What do we do here with this situation?
Video replay.
All right, no, so video replay is clearly not the right answer. I'll start with two things. Number one is linemen have to stop being idiots and quarterbacks have to stop lying, right? So if we could start right there, I think we'll have a lot. The calls will become fewer. My suggestion is there's one scenario where I think that not playing flag makes sense. If we have a quarterback who is legitimately concerned about getting injured, whether it's someone who's injury prone, whether it's someone recovering from an injury, or just someone in general thinks that Jewball might be a little bit too physical and that they think that there is a legitimate chance that they get injured, playing quarterback, but we still want them to play quarterback, right? Because quarterback is so important. We've seen what happens with games with quarterbacks without. I think in that scenario, that quarterback can elect to be two-hand touch. I think one-hand touch is stupid. Two-hand touch with two caveats. Number one is the defender gets to make the call that two hands were on him. So none of this bullshit, you only got me with one hand, right? We're not going to argue like we did in high school, or in elementary school, you only got one. No, if the defender says two hands, the quarterback cannot refute that. Number two is once they cross the line, it's still two-hand touch. So they don't get to go from flag or from two-hand touch to flag. So that basically on offense, take your flags off. On defense, if you want to put your flags back on, that's fine, but we're not going to transition back and forth. So if it's for injury sake, I'll go with it because again, we do want to protect our quarterbacks and extend, have the longevity of them playing with us. Outside of that, we play flag football, we play physical flag football, but again, don't be an idiot and don't lie. We'll have fewer calls. Just go with the flags.
Davo?
I'm gonna let our guest go.
I'll go first, no problem. What I was gonna
By the
say
way,
about
second.
what I was gonna say
Well,
about
definitely third because Davo passed it.
Right. But anyway, yeah.
about Logan's point, if it's one QB doing two-hand touch, I would say that the other QB has got to go the same. It's a big difference, especially honestly as a lineman. Most guys get two hands over there. It's not easy to pull a flag. You got someone in front of you, and it just I feel it's going to kill the game unless you don't do sacks or you rush one guy. Maybe just rush one guy. Or it's universally you do both QBs are having the same struggle that it's two-hand touch. It's much easier to get a sack if you have two hands on than pulling a flag.
See, I don't need the
It's
other
an
side to
advantage
do
for
it
the other
because
team
if you as a quarterback are okay with disadvantaging your team
okay.
and saying, but for me, I need to do this, but I know I'll still be able to get the ball out. Great. I don't think the other team needs to do it. I hear what you're saying. I get it.
That how do stats though?
Honestly, I don't really care
Right?
about stacks and
You can't do
quite
stats.
frankly, stacks are.
Yeah. So again, the issue like this: the quarterback is usually in the motion of throwing the football. The lineman doesn't know where the ball is.
Right.
The lineman just knows he grabs the flag. And in that situation, it's hard to. The only person paying attention, honestly, is the receiver who's probably being targeted on the play.
No way.
But even him,
There's a lineman.
So-
also.
but
I
even
would
him,
say the offensive line.
but even him, he's so far away. Maybe the offensive lineman was.
So I'll tell you, in this case that happened yesterday, it was actually I was on the same team as the guy that pulled the flag, and I was right there, and I clearly saw that the QB threw the ball out first, and that brings me back to my original point. Don't make the call unless you know. And honestly, if everyone's right there and arguing against you, it wasn't like people were siding with the person that pulled the flag. It was on my team.
No, actually, everyone said to him it was a bad call.
Right. It's and therefore, if it's a bad call, then stop arguing. You see.
Yeah. By the way, in that
That's it.
situation, just all you have to
it's
do is
impossible.
pull your teammate aside, whisper in his ear, "Hey, by the way, man, like I saw it's not the case,"
That's
and
it.
let him be the bigger man and pull his.
Yeah, but then
call
there's
back.
a stat, so then he's losing a
No,
stat.
agreed. But literally, you know what I mean? You're not doing it because you're the stat leader.
Right. No, for sure.
But
Exactly.
you're just saying, "Hey, man, like I saw, like this."
But this isn't just yesterday. This happens often, right? Davo, I want to give back to you right now. What's your thoughts here?
My thoughts are pretty simple. I think you're all nuts, and that's coming from me, so that's saying a lot. This is flag football, not two-hand touch football, not wrap up the quarterback football. It's flag football. Like I said, listen, when I play line, I will always say that I got the quarterback when I pull his flag. I say, I got you. And I'm not saying that I got you before you threw the ball. I'm saying I got you. That's the point I'm getting at. If you're really going to argue with me so much that you threw the ball off, good for you. I don't give a Sorry, kid show. I don't care. Just like you said, don't make the call. Stop lying. Don't be a dick. If he got you, he got you. If he didn't get you,
Right.
he didn't get
The
you.
quarterbacks know, by the way. Like you can
Of course
feel when
they
the
do.
flag is pulled. You know.
They're all a bunch
You
of
know.
cheaters. But like it's very simple. If you really don't want to have this argue, don't get sacked. I mean,
Listen, that's why I think the wrap up.
PJ, what about you?
That's why I think the wrap up makes the most sense because in the wrap up, if the quarterback tries to throw the ball, at that
yeah,
moment,
but people are going to get
but-
injured. People are not going to play. They're not going to get a 16 next year.
I definitely get what you're saying, but in that situation, when you have the wrap up, the quarterback, if he tries to throw the ball, it's dead.
You
Once
think
you're-
like you
once
got
he's wrapped
arms
up-
around your
Yeah,
arms?
that's it. That's it. Well, you have to have
Yeah, but
your arms
but
around
it's
him at
even
all.
harder to do that.
Okay,
The wrap up.
But I'm saying that,
it's even
but
easier.
that makes
to
the
wrap it
sack.
up.
But that makes the sack.
And the line, it's much
No, but that makes the sack.
It's much easier.
But that makes
What do
the
you
sack
think? The
much
whole
harder.
time You could even be diving.
If you're playing against backs, okay, and you try to wrap him up, I guarantee you'll be running for your.
But
I guarantee you run straight at him and he can't go because you're just. Meaning when you're going for the hips, it's easier to fake. When you're going for literally just the guy, there's a lot more area to go for than just
That's
a
where
little.
we disagree.
But I think the wrap up, here's the advantage, right? First of all, bring down the stats a little bit on sacks. That's number one. So
Bring
having
it
less
down a
sacks,
bit?
bring it
Yeah,
down a
yeah.
little bit. But I think we've had years where we've had crazy number of sacks where it's like it's
Mike said that
do you
big game
remember-
last year. Like
Right,
our
right.
stats were.
Do you remember the game? I'm sure everyone's gonna.
I bet I
show the
wasn't
clip.
there.
That Solo legit just straight out tackled him.
I saw that.
That's
Oh.
gonna happen more.
Yeah,
Right.
and the beauty of Jubal is the physicality. I
Right.
wouldn't do two-hand touch. It takes away from.
No,
the field.
I'm saying just wrap the guy up and
I feel like
not
it's-
bring him to the ground. Not you can't lunge at his ankles.
I know, but like,
Well,
like
again,
if,
what's
if
the
your
benefit?
goal,
What's the benefit?
if your
of that?
goal is to wrap a
The
guy,
benefit is just getting rid of the call of I got you or I got it out. Once it wrapped up, it doesn't make it. It's
But
done.
you're leading to a quarterback getting.
if you
hurt.
have a guy like Solo,
he's going to get
who's
hurt.
trying
It's like
to wrap up a
tackling.
quarterback,
Can you
Exactly.
imagine legs not
If
going
Solo's
from the slide
coming
and
at
going
you-
straight for
right?
that?
So like
Solo's coming
Solo,
in.
if Solo's coming after your again,
Where's DK?
by
There's
the way,
three guys coming in.
I'm only the only reason I mentioned Solo is not because he's more violent than any other lineman. He's larger than every other lineman.
He's huge.
So like, but I'm like
He's larger than
everyone, right? Everyone, right? But like
Can you not see quarterbacks getting more hurt if you're going to
that
wrap
was
him?
my concern. That's why I lean more to two-hand touch, even though I don't love it. Again, if there's someone worried about, but I think the wrap-ups will. I hear you. Wrap-ups will lead to less calls, but will also probably lead to more injuries.
Well, we'll leave it to the chat. Whatever you guys think, please leave a
Team talk. No.
You know, give us your opinion. You know,
do Tier Talk live.
no. All right. This was exciting. Have open here. Live in studio guest, and obviously joining him for a segment as well. Davo, what do we got coming up this week?
We finally, after like 2 years, have week 17. Sign-ups are still available. There is no Tuesday Night Football Jewball on Jewball action. Left of Jewball this week, but there is a big game. Is Jewball on Jewball action,
You usually got to pay double for that, Conan.
but it's great. It's Perla versus Yaron.
Wow.
Team names to be TBD.
I mean, it's not the purple cobras. What's
I mean,
Perla doing?
it's lions versus snakes, right?
Hopefully.
Ooh, spoiler alert.
What else do we have? We have signups in the link above as well. We also have the end of the show.
Davo, what are we?
3 balls out. Damn, 3 balls in.
And we are now 3 balls out. Have a great week, everybody.
We're 3 balls in and we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route. Mighty gets
Like that.
You got to pay double for it. You got to pay. Damn it!
You had it. You had it.
Okay, hold on.
Expose yourself is better.
And then we'll quickly mention new stat leaders, Storm.
You
and
can either call it
Open.
expose yourself or flashers. I don't like flashers.
Yeah.
And
We
then,
already have a guy named Flash.
And then-
paid her, so they're good with it, right? So 2 adults or multiple adults who are all consenting. I don't care what you do. Some people like toes, some people like noses, some people like who cares, right? Like if the 2 adults agree to whatever they're doing, great. Go have fun. Like I don't care what you do. You know what I mean? Like if you want to lick my belly button, if that's what you're into, go do it. Like
and that's why 2-hand touch for quarterbacks is the reason.
yeah.
One second.
Prey came out of the game hot. Prey came out of the gun hot. Quick touch.
Going. Keep going. We're recording. We're gonna redo this, aren't we?
You good?
You good, Pete?
He came out of the gun hot.
I know. I mean,
What does that mean?
you come out of a gun hot. It's true, but you didn't have to correct yourself. We knew what you meant. It would have become a meme. It would have been a Steve-O sticker or something.
All right.
All right, let's revamp. Let's start again.
I
Dave,
love you.
Pass it on.
Listen, at least I didn't say this is TBI and it's another episode of TBI.